I just doubled the number of figures in my G.I. Joe Classified Series collection to a whopping 2 figures. So let's take a look at the warrant officer that goes by the name of Flint, and that's an order soldier. Welcome back to Toy Habits, and today we are taking a very detailed look at the G.I. Joe Classified Series Flint. Let's first start with the box, and Flint comes in the G.I. Joe Classified Series window display, which shows off the figure and his accessories. You can clearly see his shotgun and his handgun, and also his removable beret, and the box art on these figures is absolutely amazing, and the artists that create and draw these are truly talented. One aspect that I love is how the art wraps around the side and bleeds into the front of the box. The wraparound art design really draws your eye around from the front to the side of the box, where you can see Flint with a very intense look on his face, like he's holding a Cobra Trooper at gunpoint. On the back, you see the standard issue G.I. Joe poster-esque art, and I'm really surprised that they have not changed up the design back here to show Flint in some different poses, but what I love to try and do is find out where these figures are on the back of the box, and you see Flint leading the charge, taking Cobra head on. Like all the other figures in the line, you can learn more about Flint's role with respect to his gear, mastery, and skill, and you can see that he is a level 4 across the board, and you'd expect nothing less. He is a leader that's indicated by the star. He's also proficient in light weaponry, and they also show him as a rotary wing pilot, which I think is an Easter egg from his vintage file card, and he's also a tactician indicated by this rook chess piece. I could not wait to crack this one open, and now that the box is out of the way, let's take a closer look at the sculpt detail, and really the only way to do this is to get an up close and personal look at each body part, so let's start from the top with his head sculpt. Hasbro has done an amazing job with Flint's head sculpt, and it's one of the best parts of this figure. And one of the aspects that stands out to me is the human likeness and emotion that's captured in his facial detail, from his intense look to the scar that's running down his brow and under his eye, and even around the side of his head with his fade detail on his hair sculpt. Another aspect of this figure that makes him more human than action figure is the way that they made his cheekbones pop, and they actually made his ears look very real. His eyebrows and lips and facial expression and the way that they sculpted this figure give him definition that leads up from his lips to the side of his nose. He really looks human, and they did an amazing job capturing the feel for this figure. Taking a look at his head sculpt without his beret, you can see the fine detail on his hair sculpt, and they made it look very realistic, from the wave detail that wraps around from the front of his head to the back and all the way down to the fade that they gave him that connects to his neck. You can really see the evolution in the sculpt design and the way that Hasbro is designing their hair sculpts, and it looks like they are paying close attention to the details, which you want for a $20 figure. Moving down to his chest and vest armor, right off the bat, you can see all of the fine detail that they packed into his chest armor, and even down to the bullets in his vest, which is a nod to the 80s vintage figure. He also has a lot of pouches and places to store weapons, ammo, gum, chapstick, you name it. And if you look at his left strap on his vest, you can see a silver and blue piece here, and it looks like a comms device that they integrated into the strap of his vest. And you can literally stare at this figure, as there are so many details to discover. For example, if you pull away his strap, you can see the wing detail insignia, and if you take a look around the back and start to move around the figure, you can see more pouches, and they even added more armor detail in the back. And even his holster for his shotgun is very highly detailed as well. It really looks like it's sewn on and stitched instead of using a uniform plastic piece. The vest looks really amazing all around, as they packed so much detail, and it looks like they did not miss a beat on this particular piece. Let's move to his arms, and you'll notice that the arms look very human, and you can see the muscle sculpting that they've done to his forearm. And if you move up the arm, you can also see the articulation that they added to his arm, which gives him a ton of range of motion. Even the shirt detail and the way that it was sculpted makes it look like it's a flowing piece of clothing with all of the wrinkles. And if we look at his other arm, you can see the muscle detail here again, and it looks like they've might have even added some vein detail, but that might be my old eyes fooling me. Taking a look at his belt, and apologies for the gratuitous crotch shot, but this belt is very highly detailed and you can see some small bullets here that he could use for his handgun, and I wish they were painted, but that might have competed with his belt buckle detail. You can even see the fine horizontal lines that are on his belt, and it also has a pouch and two grenades that are hanging off the left side of his belt that are very small but very highly detailed. And the belt detail carries around to the back and goes underneath his rear shotgun holster. And he even has a gold belt buckle that is off-centered, which is another nod to the vintage figure. Taking a closer look at the pant detail, they did an excellent job with the camo styling, and it almost looks like Kevlar or some sort of durable material for his field operations. The horizontal lines gives the pants an extra level of definition and detail, and these lines give the pants an extra pop that you can see either close up or far away, which makes it look like actual clothing. And even it feels really nice. I feel a little weird feeling up the leg here, but I wanted to show you that it's not paint and it's actual sculpting. Even his holster has a lot of fine detail and it looks like the holster is substantial. And if you look closer at the clip, you can even see that it resembles a clip that you might see on a backpack, or if you had a fanny pack in the 80s. It resembles one of those too. The holster has a tremendous amount of detail that carries around to the other side, although this is not Captain America's ass. This is Flint's ass, and Captain America has some competition for America's ass. That brings us down to the boots, and these are the most detailed boots I've seen on a figure lately. If you take an up close and personal look at the shoe detail, you can clearly see the laces on the side of the shoe, and moving around to the side you can see that the boot straps, and they even added sculpting detail to make it appear that he's actually wearing the boots. They could have just done a clean boot design and molded one uniform plastic piece, but it looks like it flexes and stretches, and it looks like he's actually has his foot in there. I love that they even tried to replicate actual boots, as most of the time the soles of the shoe are different colors, and this is small attention to detail that makes these boots really stand out. He even has peg holes underneath his foot for a figure stand if they ever make those for this line. Taking a closer look at his accessories, let's start off with his removable beret, and this piece is really amazing and really well done. You can see the patch in the front, and even though it's a really tiny piece, it's very detailed, and the way that it was sculpted makes it appear that it's a free-flowing cloth beret that adds to the realism of the figure. It's also in a matte black color that blends in with the overall look of the figure. Now, moving on to his handgun, the sculpt looks fantastic, and it really resembles parts and mechanical pieces that you'd find on an actual handgun. Even the barrel and firing mechanisms have little nooks and crannies that extends down to the barrel and to the top of the gun. I'm sure I missed something here, but there are loads of details on this little piece. Saving the best for last, we have his shotgun, and this is one of the best weapons I have seen for a figure, and it has a ton of sculpting detail. You can see the same bullets that were on his vest, and it even has a brown shotgun pump and a lot of riveting detail, and they really didn't miss a beat with this particular weapon. Speaking of which, if you look closely, there is a pin here, and you can actually pull the front of the gun barrel down and make it look like he is actually reloading his gun, which is a very nice surprise that you might have missed if you haven't seen any of the product shots for this figure. It pretty much looks the same on the other side, although you are missing the bullets, which are only present on one side of the gun. And taking a look at the top, you can see more mechanical detailing, and I am glad they didn't make this a smooth piece. Here is a shot of Flint all geared up, and you can see how highly articulated the arms are, and he can actually reach around to the back and grab his shotgun from his holster. And here is another shot from the back, and I had so much fun shooting this guy, as the display possibilities for this figure are pretty much endless. And through the magic of stop motion, you can see his articulated arms in action, where he can grab and hold his shotgun and pull it out of his holster on his back. And you can even live out your favorite Bad Boys 2 moment and pretend that he's diving to miss all of the hail of bullets while pumping round after round on his way down to the ground. One of the cooler aspects of this figure is that you can actually holster his gun while he's still grabbing it with his hand, and that's a really cool aspect to this figure design, and it gives the figure a ton of ways to display. I hope you had fun watching this review as much as I had fun making it. I am very impressed with this particular figure in the line as it is one of the better ones that you'll find. If you want to hear our thoughts on the G.I. Joe Classified series or want to see our top 10 wish list, please check out our other videos on the channel. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button as I have more G.I. Joe Classified figures on the way so you don't want to miss a beat. And that's an order, soldier.